Hey everybody, how you doing? Good to see you and welcome. I'm trying to keep a straight face. I'm watching Art and his antics in the little thumbnail in my green room and he's trying to make me laugh because he's a comedian after all, and he succeeded. Anyway, how's everybody tonight? And thanks for coming in, guys. Do a little housekeeping here. And welcome everybody to the FPV Workshop. Jody, first and foremost, always followed by Arizona Drone Dude. Welcome. Bob Casey. Bob Casey, happy birthday. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's a big one for you, Bob. You're still a child to me, but I believe you turned 60. If I'm wrong, let me know, but happy birthday, my friend. Good to see you. Agent K, thanks for coming in. Chris Hope is here. How you doing, Chris? Good to see you. Off Axis FPV says first time in here, but long time listener, so gave you a wrench, my friend. Thanks for coming in. And who else we got? We got Art. Art is here. MN Paul is here. How you doing? Jerry Calvary. How you doing? Jerry's in here. Got a few drones for sale. And give us some of the details of those things, Jerry. Let's, because God knows we all need more drones. Let's see, Agent K drone says, Jerry, Jaybird, Joe, Jaybird, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Enjoyed your Mavic Air 2 precision landing test over there on Mel's channel. Very good. And anybody that I haven't gotten yet? Oh, look who just popped in. Adrian, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. And Michael McReynolds is here. Hi, Michael. How are you? Jim, Above and Beyond Drones. Good to see you, my friend. Sent you all a link. Come on in if you'd like. I think they're moving fast here, but RC Funds Diversions, how you doing? Good to see you. And I think that catches me up. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. Anyway, I want to take this opportunity
to welcome in my first visitor so we can start talking about drones. And obviously, you all know who that is. There he is.
Hey, it's great to be here.
uh, uh, Push the button. There you go. Good to
Yeah,
see you.
there you go.
God, you're again. You're lagging on my end.
Am
Jump
I?
out. Jump back in.
Okay.
Wait.
What?
Okay. Try it
Am I
now.
better?
No, I mean, well, it may catch up. It
Yeah.
No, see, everybody on the stream is probably seeing you, you're hearing your audio okay. But what I'm
Yeah.
seeing in my stupid StreamYards window is basically the sound comes out about 5 seconds after you move your mouth.
Yeah.
Now talk. Yeah, okay, it's caught up. Now it's fine. All right. Yeah, it's hard to follow you when, it's like one of those old kung fu movies, So, Art, you've been a busy boy.
Yes, we had a pretty lively show this afternoon, and yesterday's show was a lot of fun.
Let me say hi to Joe Blaylock, first
Yeah,
timer. How you
Joe
doing, Joe?
Blaylock,
Thanks.
RC Funds,
Thank you for
Diversion.
coming in, Joe. Gonna give you a blue wrench because we know who you are. You can fit right in with the
Yeah.
crowd. So yeah, Art, it's your show this afternoon. I have a hard time listening to this stuff anymore. And
Yeah.
of course, it's not your fault, but it's like going to church
Yeah.
twice a day and listening to exactly the same sermon
Hmm.
because
Yep. That's right.
unfortunately, yeah, and we'll get the politics out of the way real quick here. Unfortunately, we don't change any minds because all the minds we're talking to
Yeah.
are the
We're
choir.
preaching to the choir. Yes.
We are preaching. And speaking of the probably I would say that one of the baritones in the choir we have Mr. Adrian Mateo.
Adrian.
Hi, Adrian.
Hello, hello.
How you doing, Mitch? How you doing, Art?
I'm doing
Doing
good.
good, man.
Good to see you.
Good. Welcome. Thanks for coming in, buddy.
Thank you, sir. My pleasure.
Yeah, and I'm trying to avoid, like I've said on some past shows, I try to avoid the news because I just get tired of seeing this
Right.
continually thrown in my face. It's just pure stupidity. And if you and I have a couple of things I just want to say about it because
Okay.
it's helping me cope with all this stuff. And I realize a lot of people are having a hard time or worried about where this is heading. I mean, what can we expect? Are we headed to anarchy in this country now? But I think that for me anyway, I have convinced myself to keep it in proportion. Just because CNN runs this crap all day and Twitter and all those other things are going all day, when you really distill it down to what's happening,
Right.
probably it's all involves, I would say, way less than 1% of the population of this country. And I think to say 1% of the population of this country is out there riot would be a an overstatement. So imagine a big sports stadium
Mm-hmm.
that holds 100,000 people.
A big.
And imagine that that stadium is packed on game night. And there's 100,000 people there.
Right.
Well, most people aren't there. The majority of people, even though it looks like a lot of people in that stadium, the majority of people, the other 350 million people in this country aren't involved in that stadium in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of the relationship that we have here. When you add up all the protesters and all the lunatics and all the nutcases that are likely to actually vote when election day comes along. I think it's a minute, very small percent that's being presented to us in our face every day, all day. And all we're doing is talking about it as though it was a seriously large group of people. Now, that helps me cope, because I think to myself that even people who differ with us politically don't want the country to be like Chazistan. They don't want to live in a place like that. And
I call it Afghanistan.
Assholes, yeah. And I actually think that they're shooting them, like they have been since Trump got elected. They're actually shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
With double-barrel shotguns now.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you remember, prior to Trump being elected, the left was always like this, but they always hid it. They always hid it.
Yeah.
They became very moderate. They became very right-wing when it came to election time. They always moved at least to the center, if not past the center, for the elections, and then swung back in their own direction after the elections.
Right.
But this time they're not hiding it.
Nope.
Not only are they not hiding it, they're bragging about it. They're throwing it in our face every day. And I honestly think they're doing themselves more harm than good. So I have decided that rather than get aggravated about this, and rather than not watch it, I've decided that I am, from this point on, going to be entertained by it.
There you go. That's good.
And laugh at it and encourage them to keep it up right up to Election Day, because I think that that's the best chance we have of bringing out a bunch of disgusted people who otherwise might have stayed home.
Right.
To say this is not the country I want to live in. At any rate, that's where I'm at on this right now.
Or
they're not
the
marching.
business owners that usually vote Democrat now are going to say, "What you vote? What? Huh? Hey, I've got a business, and you're going to destroy it? You're going to allow people to burn my business?" I don't think so. Either they're going to stay home or they're going to go the other way. They'll start voting Republican. And they'll say,
I mean, this country has never been perfect. Our society has come to this point of being somewhat civilized, and I don't think the majority of people in this country are ready to go back to the Stone Ages, where the power doesn't work and there's no food in the stores and there's people rioting in this. I don't think we're ready for that. I don't think they're ready to vote for that. As long as that's what the Democrats are running on, and they're proud to be running on that. I mean, especially these lunatic local politicians, the mayors and governors of these things.
Yep.
The thing that killed me about that, Mitch, if you don't mind me saying a word or two, is that especially in my local district, you got these liberal city mayors and county folks. They all a whole bunch of liberals, and they always whining about money and all that good stuff. But yet our roads are literally just down to shit. Excuse my language. You know what I mean?
Okay.
They always want, and they want to fix the infrastructure, but they never fix nothing.
Yep.
They never fix anything, and they're always screaming about they're going to increase a penny or two. It's not going to hurt you. We're just going to keep doing it.
Yeah,
but
more taxes. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
And
but then
those taxes are diverted to people that line their pockets, that pay for their campaign.
That's what I was about to say.
It's a vicious cycle.
Exactly. It's like a revolving door. It's like the more we give, the more they want to squeeze out of you. Like we are a whole bunch of freaking oranges that you just want to squeeze every little bit of juice out of us. And honestly, if it's going to be beneficial to everybody, I'm down for it. But if you're going to be the fat pig that's going to keep getting fat and I'm going to keep getting skinny, I got a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I don't want this to dominate our conversation tonight,
Yeah.
but I did want to say it because I wanted to come on your show. I mean, I wanted to say it in your show, but I didn't feel like typing that much, you know.
I understand,
in the
Mitch.
chat,
And,
yeah.
and
But,
anytime I'm on, if you want to come in, I always put the link in the description in the chat. If you want to go ahead and jump in, go ahead and come and jump in, and we'll talk about it.
Okay, well, thank you. And hey, let me welcome Rick Halber. Rick, how you doing, man?
Yep.
Are they letting you use the cell phone in the hospital now?
Yeah.
Let us know how you're doing, Rick. Everybody wants to know. So
Yeah.
good to see you. Thanks for stopping by, my friend. Always good to have you. And got a lot of people hoping and praying for you out here. So just get better and get it over with. Get it over with. So,
Mitch, this is
yes.
a FPV show.
Yes,
I
it
was
is.
trying to get on Velocidrone, and I
Okay.
was having all kinds of issues trying to get on. And it turns out I have to adjust my controller and do all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, I think I'm going to save this for Mitch, and he could walk me through it because he can explain it better than the videos I see on YouTube.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what your problem is. Okay, what happens when you can you launch Velocidrone?
Yes, I could launch it. I'm in it. And when I try to, at one of the raceways and I go to launch, nothing happens.
Okay, but you
The timer goes,
but you didn't set up your controller yet, did you?
yeah, that's what I need to do. Yep.
Okay, there's a step in Velocidrone,
Right.
and I'm trying to load mine, and there it comes.
Yeah.
Where it says controller down here.
Oh, okay.
So you hit controller,
Right.
and then up top here, it's going to say, if you want to do this along with me, get your
Right.
controller, plug it in, turn it on, plug the USB port into the computer,
Yep.
and then I don't know why it seems like for some reason it seems like it's flashing gray on the screen.
Hey, Mitch, while Art is getting that set up, I
Yeah.
got a question for you. I absolutely love that that helicopter that you have.
Oh, okay.
And if we ever get together someday where you at and with Jim, I would love for you to help me out because I would love to actually get one. And you sound like you're the right person I need to talk to about it. I've always wanted to get an RC helicopter, just having got one. It seems like they're so easy to crash. And
Yeah, they
I don't
are.
want to have to crash and let all that money just down the drain.
Yeah, they're very easy to turn into pretzels, unlike drones. And I'm going to show you guys something really funny and admit to being really stupid, something I did flying today. Let me check. Flashing gray here too. Okay, I think that has just, I don't know what that was, but we'll see. Is Velocidrone the best option? You know, I think so. And Mr. Steele has just started a whole new series for beginner FPV, and in his first or second episode, he talked about sims, and he mentioned 4 of them. And the first 3 he mentioned, he said, are really more like games. And Velocidrone is what he uses because of the way you can actually tune it. You can actually tune the PIDs and select the models and set up a lot of things that you can't do in these ones that are games. And he also said the ones in the games, the quads are very floaty. It's not realistic, but he actually tunes Velocidrone. He says that it almost exactly matches the way his quad flies. So for $20, pardon me, I think for $20, I think that it's probably the best. I think it's probably the best. So Art,
Yes.
you got your
I'm all plugged in.
you got your controller plugged in. Okay, so let me turn mine on here.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to EDT.
And go back over to this and see if it flashes gray on the stream, and if it does, I don't know what the hell's causing that. And I'm going to plug my my controller in and plug it in the computer. And a lot of times I keep plugging USB things into the computer while I'm on live streaming with all the cameras plugged in. Something sometimes breaks. Now, you know, when you first plug it in on the screen, it says use joystick, USB joystick or USB storage, right?
Right.
So you selected joystick, correct?
Okay. How do I do that? Press the
the silver, yeah, scroll to where the where it says joystick is highlighted.
Yep.
And connect the
press the button.
I'm sorry, I'm speechless. I just noticed that Bill at Metro Drones gave me a $20 super chat and kind of took my breath away. Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much, man. You are an incredibly generous person, and I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much again.
All right, I selected it.
Okay, so now when you go to Velocidrone and click down there at the bottom on where it says controller, see where I'm hitting it there?
All right, wait a minute. Let me bring up Velocidrone.
Yeah, bring up Velocidrone.
Velocidrone. Hey, we're going to drone with Velocidrone.
Hey, Mike at Night Train, how you doing, buddy?
Hey,
you know,
Mike.
I also watched the T18 video, and they made a big point about why they left the internal charger out of that radio. And, you know, some people had thought it was in, some people wasn't, but then Grayson came out and said that it doesn't have internal charging, and the reasons why they left it out was that it wasn't able to handle some of the high current chargers that are specifically designed for these cell phones, and they thought they were having problems. Well, I went ahead on my T18, and it finally came in, and I actually did the mod and put the little board. I talked about that last week. And as long as I don't use one of those high current chargers, it works great. I just charged it up today when I got back from flying, and it works great. So now I have USB-C instead of that old-fashioned mini USB port to connect to the computer. And also I can plug the charger right into this. And that mod was $4 is what they charged for it. $4. So it was well worth it. So I think now that I have the internal charging in this thing, and my T16 Pro works great, and I haven't had any problems with ribbon cables or anything, that I was thinking about getting that new Radio Master or maybe the new T18, but I'm going to stick with this for a while. It's working great, and if it ain't, what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right, Art. So down here,
I'm still
down here you have controller.
Right.
Click on it.
All right. As soon as I get in, I will.
Now, why mine says no controller found, I'll never know, because it should have a controller in there. So let me... because I have to click joystick. There we go. Okay. So let me try this again. Why? Go figure. Go figure. All right. Let me try reloading this again.
There we go. Now I'm in.
I need to set my model to the simulator because I've got a model created for the simulator. Although you don't need to do that, but I have one created for the simulator where I have both transmitters turned off, both the internal and the external module turned off. Okay, there it comes. There comes Velocidrone.
Okay.
All right.
Is not
so let me see if mine is working here just for the hell of it. If my radio is actually working now, because when I'm doing these live streams, it depends on what I have plugged in. I have about 6 or 7 or 8 different USB devices. Now, see, now my radio is not working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug, and it may be a USB conflict.
No.
Yeah. Here I am trying to teach you guys how to work it, and I can't even make mine work. and it's never not worked. So let's see, what did I do wrong? Well, let's see. Why isn't it? What did I plug into my computer that that's caused?
There we go.
Okay, so let's assign a controller.
Okay, somehow I'm
Is that you? Yeah, turn your volume down. There you go.
Yeah, okay. Hold on.
All right.
Hold on. Mine says no control now.
You gotta get rid of that. Can you get rid of that music?
I'm trying to. I am like really.
There's, if you go into options, there's a thing that says, go into options, there's a thing that says music volume right here.
Oh, okay.
See it? Turn it all the way down.
Okay. There
There
we
you
go.
go. Okay. All right. We got the
Okay.
Hey,
we
Mick,
got the-
Mick,
yeah.
he had a brain fart. Give him my brain. He had a brain fart.
What I don't know is, I'm wondering, now I put this USB port in my radio, and it worked. I tested it to see if it would work with the controller, and now, for some reason, let me try plugging it into a different USB.
Yeah, mine's saying the same thing. No controller.
Well, no, because you haven't set it up yet.
Oh, okay.
You haven't set yours up yet.
Yeah. Okay. So how do I get it to where I get toggle between screens here? Because
let's not worry about that right now.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
What I'm having a problem with is let me try this again here
Okay.
and see why my controller isn't being recognized. It's entire. Now, another thing is that Windows just had a major update.
That's right.
It has screwed up. It screwed up a couple things on both my computers, and controller not found. And before the update happened, my controller worked. Now my controller doesn't work.
Oh boy.
So I hate to have this happen on a live stream, but I have an awful sneaking suspicion, Art, that it might have to do with that stupid Windows update. And I don't want to crash. I don't want to crash this live stream, so I'm going to leave that alone. But I'm going to try to talk you through it. Okay.
Okay.
What you want to do is go to the screen where it says controller. All right. Here, let me go back to this. Let me go back to this and load Velocidrone again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to have to troubleshoot that off the air. But
Right.
okay, so you go to controller,
Right.
and then you'll click this button that says assign controller.
No. Right.
And now
Oops.
move something on the controller. Move some sticks around, and tell me if anything happens.
Nothing.
Nothing. So I'm wondering if maybe you're having the same problem that I am. With your computer.
Right.
I need to, that's something, I don't want to waste the, I don't want to, not waste the time, but I don't want to have to try to spend the time trying to figure out. I'll tell you, I will try one thing. Let me go get my other radio. I'll be right back.
All right. Do. Old Guy in a Drone, brought to you by Jerry's Gefilte Fish. Fresh in a can.
Welcome to OpenTX. Throttle warning.
Okay, I went ahead and got my my QX7 like you have, Art.
Right.
And let me get let me find one of those
One of those old
one of those
USB.
old cables. Got one right
Yeah.
here. And because there's too many variables in this thing. I went ahead and changed out the USB port in that radio, and it
Right.
was working after I tested it, but I want to eliminate that as a
Right.
possible cause. All right, so let's plug. Let's plug. It's possible I had no, I didn't have a bad USB cable because I heard my computer make the USB noise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean the radio just connected with the computer because I heard the little beeps.
Yep.
And let's go to controller,
Right.
move the stick.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Let me try to go back in and see if it actually works. Although I doubt it. I doubt it'll work with the. Nope, nothing. All right,
Yeah.
we're just gonna have to. That leads me to believe that I'm using a different cable and a different controller here. Either I have something that's, and I don't think it's a USB conflict because the thing actually did connect, but
Yeah, I heard a poodle.
I'm thinking. What I'm thinking is
Yep.
that it's possible that I need to go in because of that Windows update and reinstall the drivers from Velocidrone for the radio. It may have been that those drivers were overwritten by what Windows thought were updated versions of them. More than likely, that was what caused the problem. But again, I don't want to have to sit here and spend. That's the kind of thing that can take you an hour to troubleshoot. I don't want to do that. So at any rate, that'll have to wait, Art. But when I figure out what it is, I'll get on the phone with you, and we'll get you set up.
All right, sounds good. All right.
Interestingly, I want to check here to see if all my cameras are working. So that camera's working, and that camera's working. Okay. What is that noise?
Oh,
Good question.
I think
that's
Art.
Yeah, when I was moving the cursor around, when it hits the buttons, it acts like, it sounds like somebody hitting buttons. It's going boom, 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 boom.
And
right.
we have a new visitor in here, Yowie
Yowie?
P51. Yeah, one of Greg Cooner's
What's up, buddy?
neighbors over there in Australia, and he wrote me an email, and I replied to him, and he's stopped in on the stream. And welcome, my friend. Welcome. Good to see you. Let me give you a wrench here. You can join the blue team. So try getting your radio in bind mode, Michael McReynolds. Oh, you're not talking about our problem. You've got another problem there. Okay, trying to keep up with the chat too. So anyway, Yowie P51, Greg, I think is his. What now? I forgot your name already. I am so bad with names. God bless it. Hold on a second. Let me. It was Gary. I know it began with a G. Gary saw me do that live FPV flying on Greg's little show where Greg and Kelly simulcasted that fly live, and I finally got a flight in, and he called me up and asked me how I did it, basically, and he has the same receiver. Eachine has the same exact receiver. It's white. I've got the SkyDroid version of it, which is gray, and it's that little FPV receiver that has a USB port.
Right.
You can plug it into your computer, and then I capture it in OBS, and that's how I stream it. But if you're out in the field and you want to stream FPV live to your cell phone, and I haven't tried it yet, but I told him, I replied to him in the email, I think that if you use DU screen recorder, remember when that YouTube 1000 deal first came out and all the guys couldn't stream from their drones anymore direct to YouTube,
Right.
the live stream
Are
direct.
you all right, Adrian?
Yeah, I just got a little eyelash in my eye, but I'm good.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah.
So at any rate, what happened was they were using DU Screen Recorder, and I remember Philly Mike was using it for quite a while, and it has a lot of features, but one of the things that it does have, and I went and played with it a little bit to make sure that it did, what it basically does is whatever's happening on you, it works in the background, okay?
Mhm.
So you launch the screen recorder, and you go into the setup, and then there's a button that says, a little camera button says live. So you hit that camera button that says live, and then you're given a bunch of choices. You're given Facebook, YouTube, but one of the choices is RTMP.
Yes.
So you click on RTMP, and if you got a YouTube show going, you put your YouTube RTMP and key in there. If you were wanted to stream to Greg Kunert's deal, his RTMP address was live dot whatever his name is, drone.
Right.
What's the name of his server?
By drone.
No, dronebook.com or something like that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then /live.
Mhm.
And then he says to put / the key, but you don't. You put the /live, and then where it says key, you put in the key. And in his case, you put your own name or make up a key there. And then when you hit go, whatever's on the screen of your cell phone is going to start streaming live.
Right.
So then if you have that SkyDroid receiver, you plug it into your cell phone, and you open up the SkyDroid app, which will now display on your cell phone screen the feed coming from your drone, and the audio that gets live streamed will be the audio coming into your the mic on your cell phone, so you can talk and moderate it while you're flying, and that should work. And I was thinking about that for a while because Ed and I were talking about how to do this from outside without having to be tethered to your computer in your house to do it. And I think the DU Stream Recorder will work. So I'm going to experiment with that. I'm going to try it. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow sometime.
You're going to experiment?
Yeah, I'll put a private stream out just to try it, just to work on it. Where I don't have to worry about. Well, maybe I'll make it live. I don't know. It won't be using any of my StreamYard allotted hours, so it'll be using something else. But if that works, then with just a cell phone and that little receiver, you could live stream your drone flying to YouTube, to your YouTube channel, even without having 1,000 subs. Anybody who's just has a cell phone and DU recorder and and that little receiver is only $20-something. I got mine at Race Day Quads. It's called a SkyDroid, and I got the Diversity one. Has 2 antennas and has a built-in. And you've seen how well it works. It works real well. It works almost as the picture on it is almost as good as what the goggles has. Make it unlisted instead. That way you can share it. Yeah. Ed, you're right. No matter how I do it, if I make it private or unlisted or whatever, I can always change. You can go in and edit it and change it to from one to the other. So I think that's the way to do it. And I'll experiment with it. And Ed, if it works, I'll let you know, because that way I think we'd be able to do these little live streams, just like the guys do with the camera drones.
Right.
But stream from the FPV feed, and won't that be exciting?
Yes, it does.
Okay, Gary, good to see you. Thanks for stopping in, my friend. Yowie P51. Good to see you. Come on back when? Yeah, it's a work day. Yeah, it's Monday. It's tomorrow.
Right.
We're talking to somebody from the future.
Tuesday.
We have somebody from the future here tonight. So I went flying. Yeah. Goddard, I'm really unhappy about the fact that I can't get that Velocidrome thing to work for you tonight.
Yeah.
And I know. I mean, it was just yesterday or 2 days ago. I tried it after I put that USB plug in, and it worked
Right.
fine. And then today, they said avoid this Windows update number 2004, but I did the one that was update number 1991. And so I said, well, that one's got to be okay. And now that doesn't work. So anyway,
So
technology. What are we gonna
Yep.
are we gonna do? And it has to be the computer. It may be when I reboot the computer and all the USB ports reset, it might work. I'll try that. Of course, try
Let's
that
do
first, but I can't try that now, or
Yeah,
it'll be
yeah.
it'll be the end of the show. So I
Yeah.
went flying today.
You went
And
fly.
I went flying today, and I did what was probably the dumbest.
Uh-oh.
It didn't hurt anything, but it was without a doubt the dumbest thing that I've done in
How
quite a
dumb
while.
was it, Mitch?
It was really silly. It was really
What?
silly. So
Let me do my
So-
estimate. How dumb was it?
was it? So I go out there, and where's the video? Here it is. I go out there, and let me turn the sound on so you can hear it, because without the sound, it loses its effect. And then I'm going to show you the flight too, because I'm starting to stretch my wings a little bit. And Carlos, if he was here, where the hell is Carlos? If Carlos was here, he'd be
was,
proud of me. What
over
the
at
hell
my
happened to
place.
Carlos? He never misses this show.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the what happened? Wait a minute. I got it here. I got a sound effect for this. I'm so smooth.
Well, what had happened was
There it goes.
Yeah.
What happened was, I'm out at the field. The guys are flying model airplanes out at the park, and I said, okay, I'm just going to park my ass under this tree here where it's shady, and I'm going to fly off in a different direction from the airplanes. Okay, they were flying to the south of the tree line. I'll fly to the north of the tree line, so I don't get it. So I don't get in their way. So I put the chair under the tree, and I
Yeah.
flop out my landing pad
Right.
that you see right here. I flop out my landing pad, and
Uh-huh.
I set the drone on the landing pad without realizing that I didn't stick the landing pad, as you can see by up in the upper right-hand corner, the tree overhanging,
Uh-huh, yeah.
and I didn't realize that my landing pad was right under the canopy.
Oh.
That was the first mistake that I made. Okay.
Uh-oh.
The second mistake that I made was, now normally when I throw it in air mode, I throw it in acro,
Yeah.
and as soon as the thing lifts off, I push forward on the stick and it heads straight out.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Well, I forgot to put it in acro. It was in angle mode. And I give it throttle, and this is what happened.
Whoa.
Right. Let's look at that again.
Oh,
right into the tree, and yet it kept right on going.
I saw some leaves flying
That was,
around.
so I'm sitting there hovering a little bit right there, and I still don't realize I'm in angle mode. And I said, well, it looks like I didn't break a prop or anything, so let's just go fly. So today, the goal for me today was, because everybody keeps saying I don't fly around trees enough, the goal today was to fly between the trees. Okay? So I'm flying between the trees, and I'm saying to myself, this doesn't feel right. I mean, I'm flying between the trees, but it just feels really strange.
Yeah.
And of course it felt strange because I'm in stabilized mode. And I've never even flown this particular drone in stabilized mode. This is the my Acrobat, you know, the
Ah.
3-inch job with the DJI system in it. That's why the video looks so clear. And yet now everybody asked me if that was a gate that I put there to fly through, and it wasn't. It was a big wooden thing, and I decided I didn't want to break my drone by trying to fly through it, so I didn't. But every time now that I watch this video, I look at it and say, damn, I should have flown through that thing. So if it's still there the next time I go out, I'll fly through it. So right about this time, I'm saying, you know, this feels like it's in angle mode. And sure enough, in my goggles, it says stabilize. So right here, I turn around and I say, okay, I'm going to just get up high and throw it in acro mode. And there it is. That's when I hit the switch for acro mode. So now you can see I have all kinds of, I can roll it and yaw it. I have, and now all of a sudden it's flying like this thing does. And this is a pretty quick little drone. So then I said to myself, well, I thought flying through those trees was kind of easy. Of course it's easy when you're in angle mode. So I said, let me try. Well, first, before I tried in acro mode, I said, well, let me just get the feel of it for a second in acro mode here. So I did. But then I said, okay, screw on your courage and go fly through the trees in acro mode. I said, I know I'm good enough for that, but I guess I'm a chicken when it comes to breaking my drones. But anyway, I put it in acro mode and found out that it was actually easier to fly through the trees for me in acro mode than it was in stabilized mode. I could slow it down. I had good control. I was, you know, had good altitude, holding altitude well, and so I had a good time. And I just flew around the trees with the thing. It's the first time I really spent any time weaving in and out of those trees, and I felt pretty good about it. So the old adage is the only way to actually progress in this sport is to just get out there and do it. And if you break something, and I was having so much fun on this flight after I got going that the next stupid thing I did was I forgot that I actually had a battery on this drone, and it wasn't like a simulator; it would go on forever. So I flew the thing and just trying to fly around low, avoid flying in front of cars and everything. So I was just having so much fun, and I said, why haven't I been flying low through the trees before now? Because it is just like the simulator. You know, in a simulator, I fly through everything. But it is somebody in the chat. Oh, Craig, how you doing? Chris, rather. Just me, Hop. Yeah, it is. I went and stopped for the stop sign there. I hope you noticed that. Did you see that, guys? Did you see me stop for the stop sign?
Yeah.
I'll show you. I mean, that was important. You got to obey the traffic rules here. Yeah, here. I come around, I turn around, and I actually thought it'd be nice to just stop at the stop sign for a second, and then go.
At least you didn't break the rules.
Nah. And you know, we got bicycles out there. But you know, for me, this was real progress for me today on this particular flight. And God, that thing just begs to be flown through, doesn't it? That wooden thing. I have no idea what it is.
It looks like a soccer ball.
No, it's not big enough, and it's made out. It looks like it's made out of old crates or something. I have no idea what it is, but should have bonked the stop sign. Chris, I'll leave that for you youngsters to do all that hair raising stuff. And I'm flying, and I don't know if you realize this has been quite a long flight already. Now, this little 3-inch drone has a this is the drone here.
Right.
No, that's not the drone. That's a 5-inch. That's
yeah.
That's not the drone. This is the drone right here.
Oh,
This is the drone. It's the Acrobrat. It's got 1507 GEP RC motors. It's got a GPS in it. It's got a lost quad beeper in it. It's got the DJI air unit in it. It's really loaded out. And I put a 1300 milliamp 4S battery on top of it. So it is fairly heavy, but you notice that the motors are not screaming. It flies at very low throttle, so it's certainly not overweight. But I'm looking at, I finally looked down at the battery voltage, and it said I had 14.5 volts. Now, you're supposed to land at 3.5 volts per cell, okay? And right here, it quit. That's it. It says I'm not flying anymore. It says I'm not flying anymore, and it just plopped right down. Fortunately, it plopped right down in a wide open place.
Mitch, when you had the black on, you looked like the one of the singers from one of the Queen albums.
How do you mean?
You had this disembodied head on the black.
Oh, floating down around in the black background. Well, that's yeah. I'm wearing a black shirt. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
So-
that's pretty cool.
so Mitch, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
That 3-inch quad with a remote and just the whole setup that you have, about how much would that run?
Well, this is an expensive way to go.
Yeah.
The quad itself, the Acrobrat, was probably, the frame was about, it was an Acrobrat knockoff frame from Amazon, and I don't know, I
Right.
did a live stream build on this last year. So the frame was about $30. The motors were $60. The flight controller, it's got an F7 Mamba mini stack in it. That was about 50. I would say probably 200, maybe around $200 in the drone itself. Okay.
For
Then you
everything,
add
for everything you have in there now.
no, $200
Okay.
for the drone. Then then you put the DJI air unit in. That's $180. So now we're up to about
Okay.
380. $20 probably for the little battery-powered lost quad finder,
Hmm.
and another 20 for the GPS. So we're over 400. We're over $400.
About 420.
Yeah, for this little thing. And then of course you need a transmitter, and you need a set of goggles too.
Yep.
Now, if anybody's thinking about buying this DJI system, right now they're having an amazing sale
Yeah.
on the whole system. You can buy for $639. You can buy the whole system, including the transmitter. And if you don't need, that's one air unit, set of goggles, and the transmitter. That's normally $929. Now they're selling it for $639 for this Father's Day sale. If you want to buy what I did, if you have your own radio, like I don't use the DJI radio, I want to use my regular radio, which means I put a receiver in here instead of using the built-in receiver that's in the air unit. That's another $20.
Right.
If you want, they have another package that is the goggles and 2 air units, which is about the same price, $600 something, and that's a hell of a deal. Now I thought I got a hell of a deal when I bought mine, because I paid like a little over $700 for it,
Right.
instead of the close to $900 that it is normal.
Right. Right.
Drone Obsessed Jerry, did you pull off the pack when I landed?
Oh, did you puff the pack?
Puff? No, it actually didn't. I thought it might have, but it didn't. It didn't. What I actually dumped. I noticed that the beeper. Interestingly enough, this beeper is very loud on the back here. This little lost quad finder beeper, and as it was flying by me, I could hear it beeping. But normally, if this was an analog quad, I would have warnings in the OBS, in the OSD rather, warnings in this on my goggles saying low battery land now, low battery. But that's one of the OSD items that DJI has not yet programmed to be available in the digital OSD that I can see. I can see voltage, I can see GPS information, I can see flight mode,
Right,
and
right.
a few other things, but I can't see the warnings, and they need to fix that. But the thing was beeping, which it does when there's a warning too. And I actually heard the quad beeping as it was flying by, and I said to myself, I said, what's that beeping? Because this guy's behind me flying airplanes, and I didn't know it was one of their things. And then it dawned on me, because the throttle started to feel real sluggish.
So,
Okay, so as soon as that happened, I turned it around back towards me, and I knew exactly where I was, right on the other side of those trees, and I just pulled the throttle all the way back and dumped it,
yeah,
so that I wouldn't totally destroy the battery. I didn't,
Yeah.
because if you do, that's a way to really completely and totally destroy your batteries. Oh, Mel is here. Hey, Mel.
yeah.
How you doing,
Hello,
buddy?
Mel.
Mel, the new
How you doing, Mel?
Mel had an adventure today. Bought himself an airplane. He's going to go
Yeah.
back into RC
Saw that.
airplanes, and it's going to be an interesting little project.
Then you
I
got
actually have two, Mitch.
what was that? The controller, FUBAR controller.
Fubar, yeah. Futaba. What'd you say, Adrian?
I actually have two fixed wings remote. Planes.
You flew RC planes?
Yeah, I actually have two. I'm not an expert in flying, but I say that I'm alright. I'm good on it.
It's fun. It's fun. The only thing that's
Actually, I got three. I got a little one that's about a foot long. Then I got one that's about 3 feet long, and my natural one is about 5 feet long.
Huh?
well, Mel, I was hoping you'd come in tonight because I dug something out of the closet to show you here, and unfortunately it's yellow and it might look a little like.
Yeah, it did turn. Oh,
But this,
it's
Mel,
only at certain angle.
yeah, it's turning clear on the yellow is turning clear. But I drug, and this is the same size, Mel. This is a 60-inch wingspan, and it's an Ultra Sport that was a kit from way back in the 70s and 80s. But it's a low wing, and I built this when electrics first came out, and I stuck this big hunkin' Scorpion motor in the front. If you can see the size of that motor, and it runs on a 6S battery, and it's got this huge prop on it. It's got retractable landing gear. You can see the retract up there in the nose. And
Right.
I haven't flown this thing in, I would say, probably 12 years ago. It's the last
Wow.
time I flew this airplane, but it's all ready to fly. Because of the retractable landing gear, you're better off with flying it off a hard surface, and I just don't have a place to fly it right now. All the fields are grass, but this was, I actually had, this is all built up out of balsa and monocoated, and this is the way we used to build these things. There wasn't foam. You can see all the installation of the radio and the servos and the retract in there, and then there's two screws right here, and the wing has two dowels in the front. You set the wing in there and flatten it out, screw the screws in the back.
I'm good to go.
Yeah, but because of all this stuff in here, it was pretty heavy, and we had a radar gun, and this airplane went 130 miles an hour.
Wow.
It was stupid fast. It was so overpowered. I was afraid the tail was going to blow off of it, but it's pretty solid. It's pretty solid airplane. I mean,
Right.
it's built like a brick shithouse, and
Well, you
But
need
that was
to,
this was back in my building days, and I have a vinyl cutter, computer-driven graphics cutter like what
right?
Jim Wallace uses,
Yep.
and so I was able to cut out all the graphics for the names
Oh, cool.
and the stripes on the tail and my AMA number on the back. That shows you how old I am. I have a 4-digit AMA number. How long I've been at this. But I thought Mel would get a kick out of seeing that because he needs to do the engine installation. So this is what it's going to look like, Mel. The motor and then this plate behind it here screws in to the motor from the back, and the motor screws to the plate, and then the plate screws to the firewall. Now your airplane has got those balsa side things coming out on either side of the motor, and it may be that you're going to have to cut them flush with the firewall. So if you the motor may fit in there, but if it doesn't, now this is a 40-20 motor, 40 centimeters stator width, 20 centimeters, and this is around 700 or 800 kV. And
That's a big engine.
yeah, you probably, because the typical quad engine is like a 2208. That means this is twice as big and 3 times
Right.
as tall. Oh,
Now-
speaking of Mel, I'm busy talking to Mel, and he's here. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Hey, Mel.
I'm so busy talking to you about this brick that I got here.
Yeah,
what you
I'm
can
sitting
do-
here paying very close attention.
I figured, and that's why I got it out. In case you came in, I wanted to show you what the motor installation looked like.
Yeah, see, I kind of figured a 40 would probably be about the right thing for my plane because mine's not going to be near as heavy as yours.
No, yours will be light, and you could use a much smaller motor. This was a $175 motor, Mel. You don't want to buy this. You don't want this
Yeah.
motor.
Yeah.
But you need. I went ahead and I looked up after we talked on the phone. Here, let me put this back on the cradle here.
Hey, man.
I went
Matt,
and looked
hey.
up. I went and looked up some charts, conversion charts
Right.
for. And let me hold on a second. Let me get these links over here, and I'll show you these things. Hang on a second. Let's do this, and let's do this, and. We'll
Hi,
go
How you
how
doing?
you doing, Ed? Doing good, Adrian.
I'm doing all right too, man. I was just
we'll
about
go
to say
over
that.
here, and we'll make me big again. I'm pushing a lot of buttons in this show. Okay, so this is Hacker Motors. Hacker is one of the big names in RC, motors for RC airplanes. You don't hear about them with quads, but for RC airplanes. And they have a chart.
I've seen Hacker and E-Plate.
Yeah. Hacker, and here's a chart that talks about the relative engine size.
Okay.
And for that airplane of yours, the 32 right here, it says .32, 3.5 to 6 pounds. This is the size of the motor. It's a A30 12 XL. They're selling this for like $87. So these are pretty big motors, Mel. Unfortunately, I think they're going to... now, you might try to find the equivalent size of this on Hobby King or one of the Chinese sites. This motor would probably be $30-35 from there.
Thank you.
And you don't... Banggood or one of those. And you don't need anything better than that. Those motors... those are the same motors these are. They're just not private labeled. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
They probably come out of the
So-
same factory.
So I was thinking, what I was actually thinking was like a 40, but you're showing me a 30 would probably work.
32, something equivalent to a 32, because you don't need, for that airplane of yours, you don't need a 40 engine is, I think, overpowered for that thing.
Yeah.
Especially for the kind of flying you want to do. You want to just fly around. I mean,
Yeah.
this airplane I just showed you will go like hell on a 40 gas engine, and
Yeah, and
I
I
don't
don't
think
this would be more for scale flying instead of race flying.
yeah, I would definitely put a smaller motor. I don't think you need a 5,000 mil I think you could get away with like a 3,000 to 3,500 4-cell. They'll get a lot cheaper, and you probably get 6-7 minute at least. If you're just cruising around, you get a lot longer flight than that.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the links. Actually, let me just email them to you.
Okay.
These 2 links,
There you
and there's
go.
two different charts, and that'll give you a starting place. So
Yeah.
while we're talking here, I'm gonna send you. That's it. Subject links.
So yeah, I'm really excited about getting this airplane
I could
put
tell,
together.
man. I could tell that how excited you were. So here's the hacker.
I mean, I can't wait to get this one that Kelly's sending me, but
And that's just going to be like a little toy compared to what you've got coming
yeah.
now. There's the hacker, and here's another chart from Great Plains.
I remember them.
Yeah, but it tells you, it gives you, talks about the different sizes of the motors. It also tells you what size prop to use, what
Okay.
battery to use. It really gives you a good overview of what you need. So we'll get this link here and put that in the email.
Awesome.
And there's a lot more out there. I just took a couple minutes this afternoon. And all right, so I just emailed you those. So,
Now, I didn't get much research done on that. I did get a little bit done, but I spent more time researching that radio and the frequency and stuff. Were you in the show early when I was talking about that?
Yeah, and you're probably right. I had no idea because I haven't used one of those radios in 15 years. I've still got 2 of the JR10Xs, which were the Cadillac $1,000+ radios that we used to use when we flew the jets. That
They
were
were
on
big
72
bucks.
megahertz, had those big long antennas, like what you had. And,
I mean, this is just a 4-channel, and it was probably $600 in its day.
Yeah. Back in its day, those radios were pretty expensive. But
Yeah.
and
this one,
cool.
I didn't realize it when I first started opening up the box and looking things over. But when I saw the plug on the back, then the switch on the top made sense. It says trainer. It's a buddy box radio.
Well, they all had buddy boxes back in those days.
Not all of
Really?
them did. No. I had a craft radio that did, but only one, and I had 4 craft radios, and only
Yeah,
one
I
of them
remember those.
was able to put a buddy box on it.
Remember those old yellow craft radios?
Yep. The gold color. Yep. Sure.
Yes,
Metal box, square.
Yeah, they were
Bent
they were-
aluminum. They put it through a metal brake and bend it, and it was just
Yeah.
a square aluminum box that they put the parts in. It was pretty, but yeah.
Yeah, the radios we have today would all this stuff. Well, of course, all the electronics today would blow your mind from 25, 30 years ago.
And something else I learned, I can take this radio right here and put a FR Sky module inside of it and put a switch on it and be able to use either the 72 megahertz or the FR Sky conversion.
Is that? That's kind of.
There's video flight test. The guys at Flight Test did it.
Yeah, well, they do all kinds of strange things, but for them, it's the novelty of using a radio that old.
Right. Right.
It'd be interesting to see how these guys at the flying field feel about somebody coming out there with a big long 72 megahertz antenna again. They're probably, oh, iSpike is in the chat.
They
Good
might,
day, my friend.
hello, Jerry.
How you doing? Long time no see, iSpike. Spike is here. Say hi to Spike.
Hello, Spike.
How
Wait
you
a
doing,
minute.
Spike?
Here we
Fuzzy
go.
Cuzzy.
Crikey.
I got this.
Crikey.
There you go, Spike. I still have that button on there just for you.
He's my Fuzzy Cuzzy.
Who would rule? Okay, buddy. Thanks for stopping in.
But there's both of these NICAD packs, the one for the airborne kit and the one in the transmitter, were dead.
They have to be shot.
But
They have to be dead.
all over YouTube, there's all kinds of videos that tell you how to revive them, basically. And I tried it, so I don't know. I'll see if they'll take a charge or not.
Well, on the transmitter, you could probably use a 2S LiPo because that's pretty much the same volts, about 8 volts.
Yeah, 8 to 10 bolts on the transmitter and 5 bolts on the airborne kit.
And on the airplane, if you want to use a LiPo, you need to get just a little BEC. They sell them. They're $5. Little tiny circuit that you put the battery in one end and 5 volts comes out the other. And they're very common. You can buy them on Amazon. You can buy them anywhere. 5-volt BECs, BEC, battery eliminator circuit. And you could power your receiver from any LiPo. And the input voltage on the BEC might be anywhere from 2S to 6S or 2S to 4S, you know.
Right.
And you get yourself a tiny little 2S LiPo, maybe a 1,000 milliamp LiPo, and get a little BEC if you want to use that to power. Or you could just get a receiver for your Tyrannus, and you probably have less trouble with it.
Yeah.
And take that old radio and make a wall box for it.
Put it in a shadow box.
Put it in a shadow box and hang it on your wall, because that is an antique, man.
It truly is. It's 30 something years old, and the thing of it is it's brand new. It's never been installed and used.
Yeah. Somebody bought that thing and it just sat around. A lot of people buy stuff that they never fly or never build, and
Rick.
Never get around to it.
Chris Hope.
Hey, Chris.
Jody.
How you doing?
Jody says that Harbor Freight sells a couple of plans. I think he meant planes that fly 72 megahertz.
Harbor Freight?
I had no idea.
They sell alarm systems. They sell everything else. Why not?
Yeah, right.
And you were right. I got a kick out of it when you said you don't need the frequency pin. You can say that again. Although, all the flying field down here, there's no pins on the board, but the stupid boards are
still there.
Still there, yeah. And basically, you had to, if you remember correctly, Mel, you had to impound your transmitters. Remember, you had to leave your transmitter in the impound, and our frequency pin board had angled shelves below each of the row of pins, and you'd set your transmitter in there.
Yep.
And you weren't allowed to take your transmitter out of the impound unless you were the one in possession of the frequency pin.
Unless you had the pin. Yep.
Yeah. And for guys who were never in the hobby back then, what would happen is they had 20, 30 different channels. They were all numbered. I used to fly on channel 16 and channel 33. You were telling me yours is on 36. And there are different frequencies.
This one's on 36.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, on eBay, you can still get the crystals, the transmit and receive crystals. I've got a whole box full of old, expensive JR 10-channel receivers and a whole big bag full of different frequency crystals. That and if all the new radios today all have the JR module bay in them, right?
Which comes from the old JR, and JR doesn't make radios anymore. Spectrum kind of took them over, but this JR module bay, the size of it, the pin layout is still the same as it was in those radios from 20 years ago that had the JR module. And what we had in the 10X was modules for, you'd have a different module for each different frequency. And in the module, there was a place to plug the crystal. But rather than fooling with the crystal all the time, you just had a module for each of the different things. And what would happen is if two guys were out there on, say, channel 16 at the same time, both of the airplanes would crash.
Yep, usually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you would shoot down the other guy because your channel would step all over him and neither airplane. So the reason that they came up with this frequency pin and transmitter impound and all of this whole setup was to try to ensure that nobody even had a radio in their hand when somebody else was flying on that same frequency.
Yep.
And when we were flying...
See, because the way it works, Adrian, is if you had two transmitters on the same frequency and two planes flying, the receivers would get signals from both transmitters on both airplanes.
Correct.
So your trim settings and your throttle set and your stick movements would affect both airplanes.
Well, actually,
And the other guy would be doing the same thing, and nothing that either one of you would do would be able to make your plane fly straight and level, because they'd be all over the place, and
Yeah.
they'd end up crashing.
yeah.
So
and-
is this the reason why they came up with the 2.4 gigahertz?
Yeah, and
avoid all
that does it automatically. It's all digital. It automatically hops around and finds
Yep.
different frequencies that aren't being
Okay.
used and locks to each other, and you can't possibly shoot somebody down with a 2.4.
Okay.
Right. And
Okay.
the other thing about the new system is that radio, that Futaba, legally licensed by the FCC, is only supposed to be used in aircraft, nothing on the ground. Whereas you take a radio like this, you can use it in anything you want. Car, boat, plane, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Because you can't interfere with anybody else's frequencies.
Okay.
but that was a problem. And here we went to these jet meets where these airplanes are 10, 15, 20, $25,000 airplanes,
Yeah.
and
big bucks.
anybody with a transmitter on your channel could crash your airplane. And
Yep.
there
All
were
they had
some people
wouldn't even
there
have
were
to
some-
move a stick. All they'd have to do is
no,
turn the
just turn
transmitter
it on. Now
Yep.
there were people at times who were malicious that actually went out and did that on purpose and screwed up a bunch of modelers at some of these meets, because nobody, if they weren't there, they were sitting in their car with a radio in the parking lot,
Mm-hmm.
and just trying to shoot people down. And it's a shame that there are people like that, but there are. When the 2.4 gigahertz stuff came out, everybody in the hobby kind of sighed a big sigh of relief, because that was one thing you didn't have to
Yep.
worry about anymore.
Yep.
But the point I made was, it's interesting that all the old club flying fields still have the clothespin board.
Yeah. That's funny. The field here, the AMA field here that I go to, they don't have the board anymore.
No, they don't. Okay, yeah, the club field that I have down here does. And but I really, didn't think you would have wanted to use that radio anyway. That's why I said I wouldn't risk it. But if the AMA says that that is still a protected frequency,
Everything I found
yeah.
up until as late as, mid to late last year, I was
Well,
like,
you can
wow.
test it. You can test it out. Just do a range test on it with
Oh,
the radio.
sure.
Remember
Yep.
how you used to have to range test your radios? You take
Yep.
the antenna out, and then
Yep.
you'd start walking away from the radio, counting the steps,
Yep.
and you had to get 50 steps away from the radio, about 150 feet. And if you could still move the control surfaces with no antenna, you had a good
Yeah, you had a good
you
connection.
could
Yep.
fly. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Boy, that really takes me back.
Yeah. It's just,
So good luck. Good luck. I'm getting back. I've been flying these little flying wings, and
uh-huh.
and that little 100-mile-an-hour V900, that little hot rod plane, foam plane, that's got about a 3.5-foot wingspan. Uses a 4S 2200 milliamp battery, and goes like a bat out of hell.
I was actually thinking about buying another one, Mitch. I'm actually gonna probably buy a little Cessna, but I think it has that built-in. You probably know what I'm about to say, but I forgot the name. But it has like a built-in fail-safe. Like if I was to fly and I feel like I'm losing, I'm getting out of
Yeah,
control, just let it
yeah.
go and it will stabilize the drone again.
That's E-Flight.
Okay,
From Horizon,
there you go.
Horizon Hobby. They have a receiver. It's called SAFE, S-A-F-E.
Yes, sir.
And it's a stabilizer. It actually will right the airplane, just like the stabilizer in a drone. And
Yep.
you can
Okay.
turn it on and off with a switch. So if you get a plane that's hand launched, you turn on the safe mode, and that if somebody who throws it and it's going off, it'll right itself. And if they
Okay.
throw with the nose down, it'll pull the nose up. You still have to fly it out of that.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
what I've done on my wings is I've put a real flight controller in them, kind of like what goes in a drone, and run iNav on it. And iNav has a function called auto launch, which is the coolest thing. You don't even have the motor running. You hand launch the drone. When you take it off the ground, you don't need auto launch. But when you hand launch a drone, it can do anything.
Okay.
And in auto launch mode, what happens is the motor's not even running. It's just beeping. It's going beep, beep, beep to tell you that it's armed and ready to go.
Okay.
So you turn on auto launch switch, you arm the model, it starts beeping, you put the throttle up to the position where you want it to be when it's done auto launching. Okay, and then you can tell it what to do after the auto launch. You can say, just go into a loiter, fly circles at a certain altitude, or return to home and fly circles. You heave the thing, it senses the acceleration of the heave, and as soon as it's free of your hand, it starts the motor. Takes off, establishes a climb angle. You can tell it how many seconds to climb, what angle to climb, and it'll climb up, and I have mine set for 5 seconds. So it climbs up ahead, straight ahead for 5 seconds, and then automatically turns it over to return to home. So then it turns around back to where home is, flies, and then circles around the home point. All this time, I haven't touched my transmitter or my goggles yet, because I got an FPV, and then you just heave the thing, and you can turn around, walk back to wherever your transmitter is, take your time, pick up your transmitter, put your goggles on, get everything. Meanwhile, this stupid airplane is just flying a circle all by itself above your head.
Until you tell it otherwise.
And then as soon as you touch a stick, you get control back.
Okay.
Or you or you turn the return to home switch off. Either way, it turns it over to you, and then you can set it into any one of a number of different flight modes. You can set it into stabilized mode, which is what you're talking about, where the thing flies like a angle mode drone, where if you let go of the sticks, it just stays level.
Yes, sir.
If you turn, you have to hold the stick over in order to maintain the bank. If you let go of the stick, it'll level itself again. Normally in an airplane, Mel, you remember this, you don't hold the stick over, you establish your bank, you center the stick, now
and then give it a little bit of up elevator and a little left rudder.
And it'll make the turn. But in stabilized mode, I hate flying these things in stabilized. It just doesn't feel like flying an airplane. You don't fly airplanes that way. But if you ever get yourself in trouble, for a beginner pilot, it's terrific. If the thing is in an inverted flat spin and you don't know what to do, hit the switch.
And that's the reason why I want to buy me one of those. That way, I mean, because again, I know how to fly to stay up. I make my little loop, and just come around. But when sometimes I get in a little pinch and I start panicking, and that's how I crash. My first one, I destroyed the nose completely. I mean, it went right on the ground. And I was upset because that thing cost me $399 like 10 years ago.
I'll be right back. I want to show you an airplane.
Yeah, those they do get expensive. They do get expensive. And another trick, something that you might try, Adrian, you know how when the airplane's coming at you, left becomes right, right becomes left?
Correct. Right? Like a drone too, pretty much.
Same with a drone. But if you have trouble with that, you can turn your back and look over your shoulder at the plane. Now right is right and left is left again.
Yeah, but you don't want to do that. That's hokey.
Only if you need to get used to it.
Here's what everybody should start with.
Is that a glider? Like a glider?
It's it's like a powered glider. It's got a little pusher engine back here.
Okay.
And there's it has no ailerons. It just has rudder and elevator. The rudder causes it to bank over because of all the sweep in the wing, upsweep in the wing. But they sell all kinds of these things. You can put flight controllers in them. You can put FPV cameras. That's why I bought this in the first place, was to way back in the day to put an FPV camera in it.
Yep.
And you can actually turn these things into iNav, but they fly very, very gently. You
Very
can put a
forgiving.
2200 3-cell in this thing, fly it for 45 minutes. You can get it up high, chop the motor and glide it around for a while, and this, I don't know if they make this particular one anymore. This was a German, made by Multiplex. I've had this thing for 15 years. I still fly it. Every time I go out to the flying
Wow,
field,
that
I
thing
usually
still look
take this with me just for fun, because it's nice, relaxed flying. You can sit in the lawn chair, look up at the sky, fly at line of sight. I don't even have FPV in it. Just a great little airplane, and you can't. It's hard to get in trouble with it. Now you can get something like this. Now these are going to look like gliders with little electric pusher motors back up here. See, and you can get something like this today relatively inexpensively. They got them on Banggood. Horizon Hobbies has got them. You get yourself one of these things. Most of them today do come with ailerons, which is fine.
Okay.
This is how you'll learn how to fly with this, and chances are the airplane will survive. And if you break it, it's no big deal because it's not all that expensive. And the ones that you do get, you can generally buy a new wing, or they have parts for them. So if you break a wing, you buy a new wing panel. They just slide on and off. And it's not a small airplane. It's got at least, this is probably a 60 inch. This is like 5-foot wingspan.
Wow.
Okay. Now, Mitch.
Yeah.
Now, Mitch, on that specific plane, it doesn't have any landing gear. You hand launch that one?
No, you hand launch it. You just hand launch it, and that's what you probably want to do, because that opens up. You can fly it in any park. You don't need a runway.
Right.
Yep.
And you just
And
land
you can hand catch it.
Well, I don't know if I want to hand catch this one, but you land it in the grass. On this one, the ESC for the motor just is stuck right up outside here, because that gets hot. So rather than trying to put it inside and keep it cool, they just stuck it right on the outside in front of the motor, run the wires to the motor. The motor just goes in here. It's got a little 5-inch propeller on it, and it's just a fun little airplane. This little hatch just pops off, and in there is the receiver back in there, and the battery goes up in the front, and that's one wire to plug the battery in. And this has that BEC, like I told you, Mel, from the ESC, provides the 5 volts for the radio too.
Yeah, the receiver and the servos.
These things, and I had a little tiny camera. There's a little piece of Velcro on the front. I would stick the camera on the Velcro and just turn it on, let it record the flight back in the day.
I have to admit, that picture, or that drone they're talking about at Harbor Freight, it's actually kind of cute. It's a little twin engine glider pusher.
Oh,
$33.
let me put this.
There you go.
But this is what I would recommend for anybody to get started, because not only is it going to teach you how to fly without wrecking too much, but I still to this day have a ball flying this thing. It's actually no stress flying. Now this one here. This is we're having a little like a fashion show here. This one here is the V900. Okay, this is much smaller airplane than that other one. This little thing goes 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's a little friggin' rocket. It's a little rocket ship. Now this comes with that, they call it SAFE, the SAFE system in it. It's not a real flight controller. It's just a leveler. That's all it does. It doesn't have any other function other when you turn it on. And you have one switch on the radio to control it. It's either on stabilized or off. So when you hand launch this thing, you put it on safe to hand launch it, and then once it's starting to climb, I real quick just turn that switch off, and fly it, because I hate it's. I think they're terrible. But again, if you ever get in trouble with this, and this is small, and I'm old and my eyesight ain't what it used to be. You know, when this thing gets out, it starts.
Yep.
Sometimes it starts to. You can't tell which way it's coming or going. You have to keep track of it in your head.
Hey, Mitch.
You always got, yeah.
Thank you for having me in, sir. I actually have to go to call it tonight. Thank you for having me in again. I appreciate it.
Oh, okay, Adrian. Good to see
Oh.
you, man. So,
Have a good
See
night,
you later,
Adrian.
man. I'll see you later, Art. Have a good night,
Anyways.
everybody in the chat.
Have a good
all
night.
right, my friend. Take care. Anyway, so this is like a $200 airplane, complete with everything, including the radio, everything but the battery and the transmitter. But it has a Spectrum receiver. But the good news about that jumper multi-protocol module is it'll bind to this receiver. Although I do have a Spectrum receiver that I'm still using with these things, because I was flying this before I got that new multi-protocol module. So I'm still still using my old Spectrum DX7. Anyway, that's a little more advanced. This is not something a beginner wants to fly. That thing that you got, Mel, is a good second step after a really, like a glider or something, if you've never flown before. Now, if you've flown before, you'd probably be fine with that 40 size airplane.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Won't have any trouble with it at all.
Yep.
There was
All right,
a guy
let me
out
put-
there at the flying field today that had a, what do they call them? A pattern plane.
Pattern plane.
Right.
It was the maiden flight. The plane was given to him, and he put a 90 motor in it.
Uh-oh.
He was running two 5S.
Oh, it was electric.
Yeah, he converted it.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
It had two 5S, and I want to say 5,000 mAh batteries
Could be.
together.
Yeah.
And I shot video of it on my phone, and I wanted to play it on my show. I have it on my PC, but I never did play the video tonight.
Oh, you want to play it here?
I can probably
wanna
try
save-
and
or
I
you
can
wanna
probably
save
play
it-
it here.
Or you
Maybe
wanna
I'll play
save
a
it-
little clip of it.
Yeah, okay.
Let me
I was going to
see.
say, or save it for your show next week. That's okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Let me see if I can. I'm not sure if I can do it. Yeah, I can do it with this because I'm using VMix. So let me go.
Or you could just share your
And,
screen. You could just
background
hit the,
clips.
use the. You can use the StreamYard and do a screen. Just share the screen, and I can put it up.
Put video browse. I've almost got it.
All right.
I've almost
well,
got it here already.
Then I'll just make you big when that happens.
AMA. All I gotta do is find the AMA field. There it is, and there's
So,
the video. And open
My
it.
stream tonight,
Okay.
guys. My stream tonight, guys, is not having any problems like it did the last time, where it was all jittery and stuttery. I guess it looks pretty good. There we go. Oh, that is a big airplane. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna mute the sound on this because I'm gonna bring the sound way down because I went out there today and I didn't take anything with me, including a camera. So this is shot on my cell phone. So
Wow,
sorry
cell phones
about
are
that.
great, and that's a nice looking flying field out there too.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful area.
And that looks like a typical AMA club member too.
He is. He's one of the mucky moos in the club.
We used to call them geezers.
Ah. So he's messing around with it. I'm gonna get the video up here where he stands here. He was nervous about flying it. This was the maiden flight with this plane and all that, and he stands there for about 2 or 3 minutes, and I think he was praying, but I don't know. But he walks around looking things over and double checking everything, and then he stands there for a couple minutes, and he finally puts the juice to it. And I'm surprised. I actually did a good job of following this plane with my phone.
Oh, it looks very stable.
Yeah, looks good, Mel. Yeah.
I can actually probably zoom this in just a little bit for
Got
y'all.
smooth on that. Oh, nice.
It's very hard. It's very hard to follow RC airplanes, especially with a cell phone. Oh, that looks good. Yeah.
I never missed it. I never got it out of frame.
Did he just fly it around, or did he actually start doing some aerobatics with it?
Well, he did a couple of rolls, I think, and he did a loop with it.
Okay, because that's
I
what
think right
pattern
here he
planes.
goes into a loop.
That's what pattern planes are for. That was an outside loop there. With a split. Yeah.
That's an inside loop.
Oh, okay.
Outside
Sorry.
loop is when you go the other way. Go
I
down.
thought he was.
elevator.
I thought he entered it inverted, but that.
Oh, yeah,
it's just
no.
it's just too small to see. You know, if you. That's a fun maneuver. You just fly along inverted and then push up into an outside loop.
Yep. Yep. Now, if it goes out of frame at all, it's because I'm zoomed in on the video here on VMix. But
Right.
Oh, okay.
there's roll.
No,
There's
yeah.
nice.
Those airplanes are very relatively easy to fly because they're big and stable. But no, that looks pretty good.
yeah, and it actually was a floater. It floated a lot more than he expected it to.
Well, they
In
have
fact-
a lot of wing. They have a lot of wing on them.
Yeah, they do. He came around to do his landing, and on his setup, he was a little high on his approach, but he ended up having to go around and come back again for a second.
Now you notice on that airplane, Mel.
Oh, nice.
It's the same airplane on the bottom as it is the top.
Yep,
There's
exactly.
no dihedral. The wings have a fully symmetrical airfoil,
Yep,
and basically that's what a pattern plane is built, so that when you're flying, when you're either inside or outside, it
Yep.
doesn't matter. It flies exactly the same.
that's exactly right. That plane will fly inverted just as stable as it flies upright.
Yeah, of course it's trimmed. It's trimmed to fly upright. So when you're inverted,
Sure.
you're going to need to be pushing down, sticking it a little bit. But
See, that was his first attempt at a landing. He decided to go around.
pattern planes are notorious for not wanting to slow down, because they're not designed for slow flight. You know.
No,
like that.
Yeah, and that was his only problem. He was trying to get too slow to land it. He should have flew it to the landing, But
Well, his approaches. He's making his approach. He's erring on the side of caution. He's going awful high on his approaches.
absolutely.
There. Yeah, I mean he's 20 feet in the air there.
Yeah, way too high. But
Yeah.
and he kind of gets it down a little rough, but he gets
he
it down
did good.
okay.
No, listen, any landing that you walk away from, they say, is a good landing. No,
Well,
that's
the
great,
trouble
Mel.
with RC is you walk away from every one of them.
unless you fly it into your head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
No,
so then he run it back around to where he was standing, and
it's a tail
picked it up.
dragger too.
yeah, yep. So anyway,
Cool.
All right,
that-
I have to give Mel one of these.
that was all
There
shot
you
on
go.
my cell phone, guys.
You did good, Mel. You
Yep.
if you ever need a new day job, you could be a professional RC photographer. I used to. I had back in the day. I had one of these big Sony, the first digital, high definition video cameras, and the thing looked like a professional camera. It had
Yeah.
a
Right.
big
You had
square.
to carry it on your shoulder.
No, it wasn't that big, but it had
Oh.
had the big square lens hood on the front and the
Right.
handle on the top and the thing that flipped out and the microphone jacks that plug. It was a semi-professional rig, and I took that to a lot of the different flight meets, and that made it fairly easy to follow the what am I looking for here?
Right.
I'm looking for a video. You guys have seen this video, but where is it? Here it is. Yeah. This. Let me turn the sound off here. This this video here
Ooh.
was shot with that camera.
Oh yeah, I
And,
remember you talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, that was my good buddy Bob Violet who made the jets, BVM jets, and I found out he just died, and that kind of.
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
he was one.
speaking of that, Hank Williams Jr. daughter was killed in a car accident yesterday.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, single car accident, so she wrecked herself.
Wow.
Wow.
But this was all shot with that Sony camera, and
Right.
we're talking airplanes here that go 200 miles an hour. So
Yeah.
you talk about something hard to follow.
Yeah.
Especially if it's close, you know, like doing
Yeah, well,
doing
you're
flybys
standing-
on the
you're
runway
standing
and
there.
stuff.
Right.
But there you see how I tried to always zoom in on it, and but sometimes you try to zoom out when it's coming in close, but they're going so fast. There,
Yeah.
see the big antenna
Yep.
on the radio.
That's I pulled
That's
this
back in the
antenna
day.
out. I pulled
Yeah.
this one out and showed them. Yeah.
That's it.
Yep,
But there you
just
go.
like that.
Oh man, look at that.
This was shot in 2005, and back in 2005, it was still 72 megahertz and frequency pins.
Yep.
Wow.
But what I want to try to do is find a place where I manage to get a fast flyby, and that would be.
Right.
This is what I lived for back in the day, was going to these jet meets. That
Wow.
that was one of my airplanes just
86.
sitting on the ground there. Let me see if I can.
Saber.
I don't want you to have to see the whole video. Look at the detail
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
in the.
Yeah.
Now look at the detail in that cockpit. These are scale that were built
Yep.
for competition.
Yep.
But these are the hot rods right here. These bandits. That's about 2 1/4 right there.
Wow.
And that's a climb right up to about 3,000 feet, 2,000 feet. That's the problem with all these new altitude limits, 400 feet and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's killing the jet hobby. You can't fly these airplanes. They're so
yeah.
fast. If you try to fly them at below 400 feet, all you can do is a racetrack pattern and
Yep.
fly a few rolls on the way by.
Right.
So it's terrible that these things these rules are really going to kill this hobby.
Yep.
This was a nice looking airplane right here. Give you a little sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like the real deal too.
That was what was so alluring about the jets. In all model aviation, nothing sounds real except these jets.
Yep.
None of these propeller airplanes sound like the real deal.
Yeah.
Yep.
They sound like chainsaws.
Yeah.
But the turbines was the most realistic flying that you could ever imagine.
There's no mistaking a turbine.
No, it isn't. And now they have the electric ducted fans, the EDFs,
Yep.
and they're so powerful, and they move so much air that they sound like turbines. It's amazing.
Ah.
Have you seen the ones that look like the V1?
Oh yeah, they've got. They built,
man.
especially in Germany, they build these
Yeah.
humongous models.
Yep. And
That
they
are
sound
illegal.
just like them. That pulse. Man.
And they're illegal. They're illegal in this country. The airplanes that big, you don't find them. But over in Europe, that's a big deal. Building these big model airliners that are 15 feet long,
Yeah.
have four turbine engines in them.
Oh boy.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's Bob. Bob was a A4 pilot in Vietnam. Flew off A4s off carriers.
Right.
As a Navy pilot, and he owned the company that built the kits. So he designed all these kits and manufactured them for these big scale jets.
Wow.
Listen to the sound of that. That airplane right there, you're looking at about $30,000
Jeez.
with no insurance, Mel.
Yeah. Yeah. And they do have mishaps. They do catch fire. They do crash.
Yep.
Bob Casey, take care, man. Thanks for coming in. And again,
Take care, Bob.
happy birthday, young man.
Happy birthday, Bob. Thanks again for the t-shirt. United We Drone, 10-4.
Mhm.
Now, this guy was an incredible. Look at that slow roll, Mel.
Yep.
Look how perfect on axis. And he was practicing for Top Gun here, because that's what you had to fly in Top Gun. Were those kind of maneuvers where the loops had to be perfect. Had a perfect circle in the sky.
Yep. Yep.
And he was a tremendous RC pilot. Bob was. He more years than not took what they call the Mr. Top Gun trophy, which was the best of the best.
Right.
There's an
8-point roll. Yep. I used to do all that stuff.
I still do. Get back into it, Mel. But then we're going to put cameras in these things and wear goggles.
Oh boy.
The only thing is with this plane I've got now, Mitch, this one that I'm going to put together, it's not designed for that kind of stuff.
No, but you can still stick a little tiny camera transmitter in the cockpit.
No, I meant it's not designed for the 8-point rolls and the hard aerobatics
no,
and the
of
loops.
course not.
And
Of course
it'll
not.
rip a wing off of it.
Yeah, it's designed to fly around. You can do a loop and a roll with it, though.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Inverted flight, probably. There's no dihedral in the wing. If there is any, it's very little.
Right.
Watch this guy. Watch this thing come by. They just disappear, and so they disappear in a hurry when you're flying them. You got to be very, you got to have good eyes.
You get to it real quick.
And by the time you think about turning it, it's already out of your sight.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Have they made any of those, Mitch, yet that have the functioning swept-back wing?
Yeah, they do, and they work. It's too complicated. I didn't want to fool with anything like that.
Yeah.
But, as an old MiG-15.
Wow.
I had one of those.
Mm-hmm.
I flew the MiG-15 in my first Top Gun. The same airplane. Had the speed brakes on the back. See them deployed there on the back?
Yep.
They're all air pneumatic. And this is what we did. We set up our tents along the flight line. We all had trailers that we hauled the airplanes in, and we stayed at the hotel, and we went out there and took over an airport. This was Waycross, Georgia, and it was a 6,000-foot runway that had just been recently paved. And we had the whole airport to ourselves for the whole weekend. And,
We used to fly at the main airstrip on Camp Pendleton when I was a kid.
Then you know how great it is to fly RC on.
Oh yeah, on paved runways. Yeah.
Yeah. And
But
then
see, we got to fly there because the base commander was part of our club.
Ah, there you go. There you go.
Anyway,
So,
guys, that's
He made
that's
sure
a-
that there was no operations on Sundays.
there's a little
Little trip
shot
down memory
at,
lane. Yep.
little trip down
Yep.
memory lane.
hmm
I think I got a
How
somewhere
many
here a
still?
picture of me and
Well, you still got about 20 people, 19, 20 people left.
yeah,
I'm
we're
showing
not
21. Yeah.
we're not boring people too bad. There I am.
Well,
with my
I did the
big-
little
there I am.
trick. I did the little trick to try to revive these NiCad batteries. So
Yeah.
if they take a charge and hold it, I got them on the charge. If they charge overnight and hold the charge, then
Yeah,
they're good.
you can
Otherwise, I'll
just
have
feel
to.
and make sure they don't get hot and set
Yeah.
on fire because
Yeah.
they're bad. There's a picture of me with my
Your MiG 15?
with my MiG 15. Yeah.
That's not you. That's Jim Boyd. I can tell by the mustache.
Yeah, no, you can tell by the skinny legs that's me. Same skinny legs.
And plus, Mel, yes,
Look at
yeah.
look at this.
Sideburns.
Can you believe that?
Uh,
Holy mackerel! Look
hey,
at
you had
that.
hair.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I was still bald underneath there.
Oh,
But my beard was just starting to turn gray back then.
Yep.
well, Mitch,
Yeah, wow.
I didn't think I was
walk
gonna.
down memory lane, man.
Didn't think I was gonna make it to this part of the show, but I'm glad I did now.
Oh, Mel, I'm glad you did. Go to bed.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got to get up
sleep.
Gotta get up early. What time
3:30,
do you
4
have to
o'clock.
get up, Mel?
Between 3:30 and 4 tomorrow, probably 4.
That's
Oh
about
wow. Well,
what I
Okay.
do.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
get to
stand it.
bed.
Well, for almost 40 years, I've got my biological clock on a 6 to 10 schedule, you know? So,
Well, you're up kind of late, but this is about 9 o'clock is about when I go to bed.
that's
I
what it
try
is
to
here is
go to bed.
9.
Yeah, when I go to bed, I try to make it 8:30, but I end up getting closer to 9 o'clock. And
That's what's happened with me tonight, but that's
Yeah.
all
well,
right.
you're an hour behind me. We're
Yeah.
pushing 10 o'clock here.
yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Okay, Mel.
Thanks, Mitch.
Thanks
Art,
for-
we'll see you later, everybody in chat. I know
Thanks for
Bob
coming
already
in.
left,
Enjoyed-
but
enjoyed
John
it.
and Rick and Chris and Jim and everybody have a good night. We'll see y'all later.
You too. Thanks for coming in.
Good night,
Thank you.
Mel.
And that's leaves the two of us, Art, and
Yeah.
we're coming up to the 2 hour mark. So
Yeah.
we did
Come
good.
back.
I'm really unhappy about the fact that we couldn't get that Velocidrome.
Yeah, me too. That's kind of disappointing. I was kind of hoping you could walk
Yeah,
me through how to get that set up because before Mel's show, I tried to do that, and I'm like, I'm at the field, and I'm like, going, what's going on? I can't. I'm moving the controllers. I flip the switch, move the throttle, nothing.
No, nothing's going to happen because you have to set up the controller. And when
That's right. That's what I kind of figured after a while there. I thought, well,
Yeah.
maybe we need to do something to get this all to work.
yeah,
with
I think it's a driver issue because I wasn't having any trouble, and now I am. And I tried 2 different radios, so it's not the new USB mod that I did because that worked.
Right.
Night Train, Mitch just put a T-motor F4 in my 6-inch, has barometer and all, thinking GPS. Yeah, Mike, if you put the GPS, if it's an F4 and it's got a barometer, you could run an iNav on it, and that would be an adventure if you've never done it because that iNav will give you all kinds of GPS, including return to home and land.
right.
Position hold, loiter, altitude hold, all kinds of. You could turn
Well,
your 6-inch into a Mavic almost.
Yeah, the 5-inch I have the. You didn't hook up the GPS to this, but I could do that later. Now I'll be able to do all that stuff if I hook that back up. The GPS.
It would be a project, Art.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I mean a real project. It's not something for a new drone guy.
Would
It's
you
not
be
something
like-
for even some old drone guys. There's a lot to learn on
Right.
on all that stuff.
Okay.
And
All right,
before
well,
you have
well,
to start thinking about GPS rescue and all those other things, you know, concentrate
Right.
on one thing, right, and learn how
Yep.
to fly right now.
Yep. Yeah, I wanted to do something different, learn how to use the Velocidrone, and that way I don't have to move around and think, oh, where did I crash it?
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. And
Then.
I'm going to get right on that, Art, and I'll let you know what I find out. We'll get you up and running. Joe Blaylock's had fun hanging out here. Well, it's great to have you, Joe. Thanks. Glad
Thanks
you
for
enjoyed
coming,
it.
Joe.
Mike Night Train's got all sorts of stuff. 6 UARTs. It's an F4 board, so you know, you got one of those UARTs. You know this as well as I do, is dedicated for the receiver because it's inverted.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want telemetry on that, you have to do the inverted mod on the receiver, or
Right.
you need to go. I'm not talking to you, Art,
Yeah.
because you don't understand what I'm saying, do you?
I have no clue.
No, you're just agreeing with me.
Yeah. Of course.
I'm talking to Mike. At any rate, you can use the what do they
Yeah.
call it?
I don't know. You're the expert.
Soft serial is what they call it. Soft serial.
Oh, like
That's how
oatmeal?
I get telemetry into my F4s. But at
Cream
any
of
rate,
Those are soft cereals.
yeah, soft cereal like oatmeal. Yeah. Okay. Had to invert the bait FPV all in one for cross. Yeah. Oh, you're using Crossfire. That's a whole nother deal. We got
All
Rick
right,
Halber.
folks. Well,
We
I'm
got
go-
Rick Halber. We got Rick Halber laughing anyway. That's great.
All right, I'm going to skedaddle here. So
Yeah, about time to wrap it up. And first thing I'm going to do when I shut this off is I'm going to reboot the computer and see if that fixes the Velocidrome problem. And if it doesn't,
sounds like a
I'm
good
going to
idea.
deal with it tomorrow.
Okay.
So yeah. All right, Art. Thanks for coming in. Always good to have you. Enjoyed it. And everybody else who came in, thank you very much. We'll let Art go. Send him out with a.
There you go. All right. Have
See
a
ya.
good evening, Mitch, and take care, and we'll catch you next time.
I hate to shut the stream down with this many people, but it is what it is. All right, Art. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
All right, and that just leaves me. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming in. John Spitzo's here. Hey, John, how are you? Rick Halber. Get better, man. I hope to hear good things from you, and we'll be thinking about you. So you take care. MN Paul. Good night to you, Agent K. Metro Drones. Bill, thanks again, my friend. I appreciate it. And thanks for hanging in there. Mike, Night Train. Jim, Above and Beyond, thanks. Thanks for coming in. Good to see you as usual, Joe Blaylock and Chris Hope. Who else? Ed, Love My Drones. Thanks, buddy. Surprised you weren't in here tonight, but good to see you. And looking up the list for somebody different. I think everybody else went. We had Bill Coast to Coast in here a little earlier. RC Funds Diversion. And I think that's about it. If I missed anybody, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. And with that, interesting show. And thanks to my guests in the panel. Thank you, Mel and Adrian and Art. Always good to see you guys. Thanks for coming in and helping me and giving me somebody to talk to. And with that, guys, take the rest of the day off, what's left of it. Go play with your drones or airplanes or helicopters or whatever, and have a good week this week. And with that, I'll turn it over to my trusty sidekick, Spank the Monkey, to say goodnight.